Well, everybody thought it was a 4-game stretch looking at how difficult it may be, and then now you look at Duke, North Carolina, Louisville, amongst many on the bottom part of the league standings. So I think this is probably going to even surpass that 11-bid league in terms of degree of difficulty. I thought that it would never be repeated like that again, but this is just an amazing league with great strength, teams that people did not expect to be great, like Florida State and Clemson and Virginia Tech, and just to name a few, are playing fantastic basketball. Notre Dame is amongst them. Notre Dame is a team with upperclassmen all starting. They shoot it great. They're #1 in the nation in foul shooting. They're #1 in assist turnover ratio. They shoot it, pass it, don't miss their free throws, and pretty typical of the way they play. They don't turn it over very much, and they have a high amount of assists. Yeah, I could not pick right now and tell you who has the best chance of winning this league. You know, I couldn't even give you a top 3. I mean, you could by preliminary things of what everybody said beforehand, but looking the way that Florida State and Virginia Tech and Clemson and even Boston College of late, the way they're playing right now, I don't think anybody can. It may, 10 wins may do it this year. You never know.
That tough year, you guys got through it. On top of it, because of the mentality that team had, you can kind of steer this team toward, or was there anything about that?
We were a great road team, but that team is much different than this team. That team was very experienced, much different than the current basketball team. The good thing about our basketball club is we have so much growth. We have so much improvement to make. And we've already played a very tough schedule, and we'll continue to do so. But you always like to see a team not close to their potential that's winning, and that's our case. Well, it doesn't seem to change with Notre Dame. The names change, but they still shoot the ball. They still have the same statistical things each year. Like a young man right now, you think that they lost their point guard, and who's going to fill in? And this young man may be better, Matt Farrell. May be better in terms of what he's doing, the way he's shooting, the way he's playing. So, they're an interesting group. They put great pressure on you, as well as Indiana shoots the basketball. This team's even better at it because of the way they pass the basketball.
Who do you see the most growth potential?
Well, the weakest area is, it's tough to answer that question. The weakest area is passing. So I would say that we can get a lot better passing the basketball. Certainly Anas Mahmoud, him being in the lineup, he made our offense flow a lot better because he is a good passer. He's one of the few guys on the team that really understands passing.
Expressed concerns in the past about his weight.
Well, he's 223 now. Each month we hope him to gain 2 pounds, and so far it's been on schedule. So you're going to see a bulky 225 by the end of February.
His injury file was 3 inches thick, and that was a month ago now. It's thicker now.
Well, I joke that, in the NBA, when you're a 15-year veteran, you don't get a whole lot of practices in because of the condition of your knees and ankles. And he's missed practices like a 15-year vet.
He's playing tough, playing through all that stuff, and he's all over.
Missing practices? Yeah. Well, the good thing is he doesn't, if he practiced constantly, he wouldn't be 223.
Is he more aggressive offensively because he has more confidence? Is that part of it?
Honest? No, Honest just has a good feel for the game. You know, passing is, Honest knows how, he threw 3 spectacular passes in that game, but all very much different passes. You know, one was off an offensive move where he turned middle and knew exactly where Jalen, he knows where his teammates are with his vision. He knows it because he's played with them. He's experienced in that area. Then he made a great bounce pass, another look-away pass. He's just a really good basketball player. He's really, when we recruited him, he was just known as a perimeter basketball player, and he's become a lethal low-post player.
Do you like the way that he uses his wingspan? I mean, there was a couple times against Indiana where he kind of just used that length to be able to get off a hook shot or...
Yeah, he does a very good job. Jalen does a very good job with that. Ray Spalding does a very good job using their wingspan. The 3 of those guys do. Dang Adele also.
This 4-game stretch today, that's almost over. We've been talking about this for a long time. How do you kind of see the team kind of handle it, and what was kind of your approach?
Well, believe it or not, as coaches, and so if we can get out of this 3-1, it's great for our basketball team. You know, anytime you can beat Kentucky and Indiana in 1 year like that, playing close together, 2 teams that were highly ranked. One wins the Big Ten. One's, I think, preseason to win the Big Ten. The other is always a great team. You come away feeling good. That being said, we've also 2 times with a very slow, deliberate style have struggled with Old Dominion as well as Virginia. So you're still working on that aspect too of how to play those teams. So you're seeing everything in the early going. We've played a very, very tough schedule, and now you're going to face a conference that, and I really mean it. I mean, it's obvious you could say Duke could win it, but I'm talking with Jay Billis a few weeks ago. He said he hasn't seen North Carolina look this good in quite some time. I'm sure you've heard him on ESPN say that about 3 weeks ago and watching them play. And I forgot who it was they played that they looked so good at that time. But now they go into Georgia Tech and lose. And Virginia Tech is really, really playing good basketball. And so, you know, I don't know who's going to win this thing. I couldn't tell you who's going to be in the top 4. You know, and in the Big East, I could probably do that at the time. Tell you who's going to, not who's going to win it. We were fortunate enough to win it, but we were also the best. We had the best road record in our tenure in the Big East, and we couldn't say that with this team.
This is also a time where you guys are in class and practice a lot, handling stuff. How do you see them kind of maybe go?
Well, we've taken it a little easy of late because Mott's got a concussion, and right now today we're working on a lot of film work. We're working on playing some other players at the 4 spot in case we got to use Ray and Jalen at the 5 spot. So we're mixing things up a little bit. We're already thin in the backcourt. Now we're thin in the front court. So we're being very careful with injuries right now until he comes back. Yes. Yes. It's none of your business. You running a charter company? Or?
What did you like about what you got out of Donovan in the game the other day? Is it not just not afraid to shoot, but also driving?
I just thought he played like Dang and Donovan played like with total ease offensively, not afraid to take chances. You know, sometimes I don't know what goes through the players' heads because I don't live in their world of social media. You know, I just don't know what they're thinking. The only thing when I was a player, the only thing I tried to do is please the coaching staff. That was it. You didn't get concerned about what anybody else thought except that coaching staff because your minutes were determined by that coaching staff. So that's the only thing. And he wasn't playing with that with that ease of thinking he was one of the best players in the court, and he's going to show it in so many different areas. And he did in that game, and so did Dang Adele, and so did Anas Mahmoud, and you like to see that.
Tell us about the podcast.
I had to bring up social media, didn't I? To tell you the truth, it was quite funny because prior to that, when I hung up the phone, when he texted me and said he was doing a podcast with Coach K and Charles Barkley and having some fun with it, and he'd like to have me do it. And I just texted back, sure. And then I immediately went to Jordan Sucher, who works with me, and said, what actually is a podcast? Do you go on TV? Do I have to dress up for this? I had no idea what I've heard it many, many times, but I didn't know what it was. So that being said, I couldn't get on this right now and say, okay, I want to read Jeff Greer's tweets. I wouldn't know how to look it up or get on it. Or do you tweet? Do you tweet? Yes. Okay. So you know, it's just for me, it's a new world of that. I guess that's the latest thing going on right now, podcasts. So I just found out something new.
Where did you do it?
We already did it.
Right. Did you make these minutes questions in advance?
Oh, they do that too? Oh.
What's that say about the state of your relationship?
You know, I've never had a bad relationship with John. You know, if you said to me today, how is Coach K and Coach Williams, because everybody talks about their rivalry as well, which is the best rivalry in basketball, I would say John and our relationship is just as good as Roy's and Mike's. It's very cordial, it's very professional, and most important thing is we have respect for each other as coaches, and we have respect for each other's programs in knowing how good they are. And you know, John's been through two programs where they've been our rivals. Not only has it been Duke Carolina with those two, but we've also had Memphis before the Big East, before we entered the Big East. You know, the biggest rival Louisville had for years was Memphis. So it's just a matter of schools, it's not individuals. As hard as that is for people to fathom, is we don't even recruit against each other that much. And that's where there's problems. And it's not usually on the court. The problems always happen in recruiting, because that's really competitive. And we don't really recruit against each other too much.
Was it fun to record it and do something like he said, man, you gotta work for 40, 45 minutes?
Yeah, we had a lot of fun doing it. We talked about people that we have crossed paths with that we're very fond of throughout the years, and we laughed a lot about it. It was, you know, going down through history a little bit.
You do this together or on the phone? Or?
Yeah, I do it.
I mean, were you in the same?
No, on the phone.
So there wasn't a wrestling matches?
You know, like I said, I have as good a relationship with him as any coach in the I was going to say the Big East. Keep doing it. The ACC. We have a good relationship, and it is a rivalry. You want to win rivalry games, certainly. But some people think Indiana's a rival now that we're going to play them hopefully on a continual basis. But we've got this tough ACC to play against right now, and it's you know, looking at what we're facing, I'm hoping that we get through this, because I think we would be a hell of a team come March if we keep battling the way we're battling and fight the way we're fighting. It's gonna, and then Notre Dame puts up a hell of a task for us to go into that place and stop their outside threat. Bonzie Colson has a great inside threat. They got terrific athletes. Story and Beecham are terrific athletes, and they just shoot the hell out of the basketball. But we'll see.
Is that experience why their turnover rate is so low and it's the best in the country?
Well, you know, they recruit to a system, and they do a great job with it. You know, they recruit players that can shoot, pass. You know, Vital was telling me that he thought that Ryan McMahon would be a great player for Notre Dame. When we were talking about him, he'd fit in so well. He's that type of player, and he's right. He would fit in, except that I tell Ryan they don't allow turnovers in their system.
You got any correspondence with Coach K?
Yes. Yeah, I hope Mike takes care of himself. You know, he's worked really, really hard because he hasn't had much time off because he goes right to the Olympics when that ends. So we hope he, no, I haven't had too many back problems, but from what I understand, it's not pleasant. But you go through hips and knees and backs. You know, it's really not pleasant, and I hope he gets a speedy recovery. Just knee surgery.
How agonizing is something like that be for you? I mean, he's gonna be away for a month. You know, you had Nick who, you know, had to sit out the rest of the season with his health problems a couple years ago. I mean, it's your team, but you've got to kind of take a step back.
Yeah, if you know, if we run into 3 or 4 consecutive losses, I'd like to try it. Now, you know, it's difficult to happen this time of year, but you know, I watched Roy go through the pain of vertigo, you know, on the sidelines a little bit, and you never know what somebody's feeling pain-wise, you know, especially sleeping, you know, with back issues. You know, from what I understand, it's very difficult. But you know, if he's going to have surgery in the middle of the season, it's really bothering him. He wouldn't do it in the middle of the season if he didn't want to come back and make a good run at this NCAA thing. And Jeff Capable has more than enough experience to take over while he's mending, and we just want him to get back soon. He's a great coach and a great guy.
Coach, you mentioned Daniel Dell positive several times today. I wanted to talk just a little bit more about him. Do you think maybe he's picked up confidence that he didn't have earlier?
Yeah, again, I don't understand. I mean, people always refer to them as the millennials. You know, what goes into their confidence and their psyche. Because we as a coaching staff really have a lot of confidence in Daniel Dell and Donovan Mitchell and Quentin Snyder. We have a lot of confidence in them, and we expect them to perform at a high level in terms of being a risk taker and never back down. That's what bothered me the most with both of those guys, is they backed down being a risk taker. And in the Indiana game, they did not back down being a risk taker. That's what impressed me so much about Quentin Snyder in the Kentucky game. If you look at his stats, they weren't knocking you over, but he never backed down. He was always a risk taker. You know, that's what impressed me. He never. I'm sure people went up to him and said, "Boy, I never did it because we have confidence in you're shooting this percentage, or you're doing this and you're doing that," and it didn't bother him one bit. He, even in the Indiana game, although he didn't have a great shooting night, he was still a risk taker the entire game. So it never bothered Quentin Snyder, and that impresses me.
Well, it seems like you're getting a lot of guys right now that are fitting into that mold of being a certain.
Well, we'll see. We're going to see. I mean, you know, it's not your typical, you know, where we could sit back and play. Okay, this team's coming in. Louisville should win this game. It's no longer. It's back to the Big East in its prime. You know, with the ACC, and it's you know, there was a period last year where people were questioning Syracuse whether they were going to make the tournament, and they went to a Final Four. So it changes dramatically. I mean, remember, some of you remember back we had to win like 7 of 8 games to qualify for the tournament, and we got hot as a pistol and playing great basketball. So you just don't know where your bumps in the road are going to be. You really don't know. You just got to play every game as if it's the Kentucky-Indiana game with that much at stake. I think the league made a mistake. I really think. I don't think. I think the ACC didn't, even though we balked a little bit. It just shows you how little juice Kenny Klein has with his league. He had a lot of juice with the Big East. Is, you know, when you're talking about doing the best for a league, you don't put Virginia in between Kentucky and Indiana. You just don't do that. You just don't do it, because you know it's 2 nationally televised games. You know it's rivals, and you just don't. You do your homework a little bit in that. But they're going to say they did it with other teams and so on, and that's the best they could do, and you know they're going to give you some BS.
Anything else, Coach?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everybody.